What is going on, guys? It's PokePond back with another video for you. Lots to talk about today. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. We go through all of the sealed product from Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield, tell you everything that's going on in the market. It's going to be a good episode this week. Lots to talk about. The market's going absolutely insane with no signs of slowing down. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, you're going to have to bear with me this week because I am getting over a pretty bad sort of like flu-y head cold sort of thing, so I'm a bit bunged up, but with the power of editing and taking lots of little breaks, I'm sure we can push through this episode. I wanted to make sure that no matter what, I still got you out this weekly episode just because the market is going bananas right now. One of the sets that is leading the charge, as it always does, is Destined Rivals. Right out the gate since its release, let's just zoom out on this chart a little bit. It's just gone absolutely bananas, and it's just week on week on week doing gains. I find it actually quite funny because there's so many people in the hobby that give advice on sealed products that told me I was mad for buying in when it was $200 a box, $210 a box. People with channels much bigger than mine, people who have been in the hobby even longer than I have. You know, I've been there since the end of the XY era. They were all messaging me saying it's irresponsible for me to recommend investing into Destined Rivals. It's such a new set. It's going to get printed into the ground. It's going to go to MSRP. Well, I'm sorry, guys. I was confident, very confident that Destined Rivals was going to go on a massive run. And I'm sorry, it was one of the most obvious plays that we've seen in the market ever since Destined Rivals, or Glory of Team Rocket, which was the Japanese version of the set, was trademarked. So before it was even out, when the IP was just copyrighted and trademarked, Glory of Team Rocket, people were already hyped then. Like, we were all talking about, oh, the Team Rocket set is coming, it's going to be a big set. Excuse me, I don't understand why all of a sudden then when it released, people were like, oh, well, it's not that good, is it? You know, it's just going to go to MSRP. No, come on, guys. This was the most obvious play in the market, and it still is. Even at this kind of price point. Look, where are we at now? Last sale, $419, 3 sold, $420. Okay? It is clear that Destined Rivals is leading the charge and is the best, if not, like, it is just the best set of the era. There's no doubt about it. It is leading the charge, even at this price point. I mean, let's have a look realistically. Let's zoom out and look at things at where the best sets of all the other eras have gone in price. Are you telling me that once Destined Rivals goes out of print, it's going to be $420 or less? No. Like, this is $1,000+ box all day long. You just got to give it the time. And it probably won't even take that long either. Like, it's exceeding expectations. It's absolutely pumping. Yes, it may drop down in price a little bit temporarily, but it also may not. It may just keep going. We always say on this channel, make sure you are prepared to invest for at least 2 years minimum. And ideally more than that. It may be that it shoots up to over $1,000 a box by this time next year. It may do it by January next year. We're not sure of the timescale of when it's getting there, but I think everyone in the industry, when we really sit down and think about it, we know that Destined Rivals long term is going to be more than $1,000 a box, probably much more than that. So why is there so many people saying now that you've missed your opportunity with DR? It's the same people that told you not to buy when it was $200 a box. It's just bad advice, guys. It really is. I think that Destined Rivals is already demonstrating, even when you take the emotional things out of it, let's just look at the data, okay? It is already demonstrating that there is so much hype behind it, so much demand behind it. What's going to happen when this box goes out of print and there's even less of it available? I'm telling you, it's going to over $1,000 a box, probably much more than that. Let's have a look at what's going on with the price chart with Destined Rivals then. Destined Rivals last week was at 395 on the average price chart on TCG Player. Now it's at 420. Multiple sales at 420. So that's $25 on a 395. Let's calculate that out. Destined Rivals is up another 6.3% on something that's already way above what everyone expected. It is clear that Destined Rivals is pulling ahead, and it's going to be a titan of the Scarlet and Violet era. And if, like I said, let's look at the best box of Sword and Shield, Evolving Skies. What's going on with the price of that? Let's look at the price of some of the boxes of Sun and Moon for the best sets there. What's happening with the prices of XY, the best sets there? Come on, guys, you can't tell me that long term this is still going to be $420. I agree that in the short term, if they print a lot of it, it's going to drop down in price. Potentially. But we're just not seeing booster box reprints as well. We're seeing other products get reprinted, your bundles, your tins, your other products. We're just not seeing booster boxes sat on shelves like we used to. We're in different market conditions, and I think even buying in at $420, I think that is still a good buy. Why not buy one of the best sets of the era, if not the best set of the era? Just be prepared to sit on it for a little while for the possibility that it may drop down in price temporarily. But I don't think it will. You know, who's saying that it will? Let's then have a look at last sold on eBay. $410, so in line with TCG Player as well. At an all-time high, continuing to pump, continuing to run. I think even if they put a huge print wave together and there were booster boxes in every single store around the US and the UK and the EU for a couple of weeks, because that's all it will sit there for. Even if there's a big print run, it will get bought out quickly. For them to affect the price at all, they would have to print week on week, because there's just too much demand for this set, and it's just going to continue to skyrocket, in my opinion. Last sold in the UK, £404. If you're wondering why I'm looking at both US prices and UK prices, I am UK based. I have a lot of UK viewers because of that reason. But we also obviously look at all of the US markets as well. So we look at everything going on in the global market. So wherever you are based in the world, hopefully you will get something out of these videos. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Now, £404 in the UK. I actually saw one sell this week for £420. Now, for my US viewers, to show you how insane that is, £420 in US dollars is currently $579 someone paid for one here in the UK just a couple of days ago on eBay. Buy it now. So yeah, the market is just going bananas for Destined Rivals, and I think it will continue. We will talk briefly about Mega Evolutions. I don't really like talking too much about sets that aren't out yet, because we can't really pay much attention to sort of pre-sale prices, because they're likely to change on release date. What we can do, though, is almost guarantee that these prices are wild. So Mega Evolutions, if you don't know, comes out on Friday of next week, which is the 27th of September. No, sorry, 26th of September in the US region. EU does have a delay of another 3 weeks. We will not get it till the 10th of October. It is going to be a split release as well in the US, I believe in the UK as well. So you're getting it in 2 waves, which again means less product on day one. It's going to cause more carnage. It's going to be less supply, higher demand, more money. Like, it's the perfect storm at the moment with the way the market is right now. However, people are pre-buying this for $263, $270. I think that's a bit mad. Obviously, if you really want this product, then queue up on release day next Friday. See what stores in your area might be doing a release event. If you're going to do that, make sure you queue up early, because a lot of people will be having the same idea, especially when they're thinking they can flip the box or scalp the box for $260. The lines are going to be long for that kind of thing. But yeah, just a quick little warning with Mega Evolutions. Like, personally, I wouldn't buy into it for 260, 270 on a pre-order. I think that's a bit mad, and I think that even with split releases and the demand for this set, I think that in time, if you're patient, you probably will get it for cheaper than that. Maybe even on release day, because a lot of people, this is a difficult subject to go on to, because a lot of people don't think this way. So scalping in the hobby does have its benefits, and I'm not saying that I support scalpers or anything like that. However, scalpers race each other to the bottom. So you've got people here, right, selling for $260. If you don't manage to get a pre-order, and you don't manage to get out on release day, maybe find a product for MSRP, there will be scalpers on day one that will be selling for not that much more than retail to just dump it and get a quick bit of profit. Now, it depends how you look at it. Scalping is all about perspective, because I personally don't think it's an awful thing for the hobby, the fact that there's scalpers around. And that's a very controversial thing to say, because everything else on YouTube tells you to hate scalpers. But actually, they are providing a service. Okay, I buy a lot of my product off of the secondary market on eBay, and it's cheap because the scalpers don't want to hold it, and they panic and they start racing to the bottom and cutting lower than this person and cutting lower than that person. Yes, you're going to have to pay more than retail for the product, but you don't have to queue up. And a lot of the time, let me talk about prismatic evolutions for an example. So over here in the UK, prismatic ETBs obviously dropped on release day. Scalpers were selling them on eBay for £20 or what, like $30 more than retail. And at some points it was like only $20 more than retail. And then you can see where the price is now, so it kind of doesn't really matter. And then you don't have to queue up and wait in the cold. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's all about perspective. Okay, I know I'm going to get heated up in the comments for saying that I don't think scalping is that bad in this hobby. But me personally, I don't have time to stand in line on a release day for 3-4 hours in the cold. I'm quite happy to pay someone an extra $20, $30 for them to get me a product that I'm then going to sit on for 5 years and 5x my money. Do you know what I mean? It makes no difference to me. I think the only people that scalping really affects is the people that want to rip it on day one for profit. And I'm sorry, if you're sat here watching this video, you obviously have an interest in keeping sealed product. So actually, scalpers do provide a bit of a service, but we're going to move on because we're waffling, and you guys are going to heat me up in the comments already, I know. But yeah, $269, I wouldn't pay that for a pre-order, because scalpers will be selling it for less than that on day one, I can almost guarantee. Right. Now, let's move on to briefly talk about White Flare Black Bolt. Not much is going on with the prices of these, but because they are the newest set, we do need to talk about them and keep an eye on them. Price of White Flare ETB is kind of average. It's dropping down a few dollars. So around about $76. Multiple of them selling for $76 there. Nothing that interesting going on there. And the Black Bolt ETB, that's a little bit more popular, selling for around $80, $82. There's one sale there for $120, but I think that's just an outside figure. I think market price really is about $80. We'll have a quick look at eBay. There you go, $70 for a Black Bolt ETB. And I don't think that's a bad play going forward. Obviously, you've got the Seismitoad in there. Thank you for my viewers who pointed that out to me, which is why the Black Bolt is probably a little bit more popular than the White Flare, because you have the Seismitoad in there, which is obviously going to be a popular card in the long term. So $70, I don't think it's bad to put these away now for that kind of price. I think that it's a creeper set, and it's going to take some time. And when I say time, I'm talking about years for it to see some significant growth. But once it does start to move, like in a couple of years' time, I think that you could easily double, triple your money if you're willing to put it away for years. I don't think it's an awful play. Now, let's talk about one of the other best plays. And with Destined Rivals, we really talked about it being such an obvious play, and I think Prismatic Evolutions is the same. We've said this since day one as well. I mean, come on guys, what are we talking about now? And we're seeing it now in the charts too. Very quiet, those people that were saying it was going to MSRP. We said to people from the start, before it started getting dropped in Costco, it's not going to go below $100 for any length of time, because there's too many people in the market waiting here with cash, like me, like most of you guys, that we see it for $100, we see it for £105, that kind of price, and we know it's a deal. We know it's going up long term. Like, I think everyone in the hobby understands that as well, and now we're starting to see it in the market. Now we're starting to see it rebound in price, and it's just getting started, guys. Where's this going to be in 2 years' time? That's what you really need to ask yourself. Never mind about what's it doing next week, the next week, next week. What's it going to be in 2 years' time, Prismatic? I think it's going to be a lot more than where it's at right now. Let's have a look then at the price chart. $112 for the ETB last week. This week, $124. So it's up $12 on a, what was it, 112. It's up 10%, guys. It's up 10% in the last week. And like, it's still cheap for such a good set with such good value as well for the potential hits you can pull out of it. I think that Prismatic is really going to be a big boy going forward. And it's one of the most obvious plays to make right now, along with Destined Rivals. Obviously, Destined Rivals, you got to shell out a bit of money for a box now, but once you start zooming out and start looking at the bigger picture, that's what people really struggle with. They're always trying to time the market and be like, oh yeah, but if they drop a big print run, then it might drop by 20% for a couple of months, and then I'll move in with everything. Well, I'm sorry, that kind of attitude will not get you product, because A, they might not ever drop that big print run, and B, those are the same people that when it drops 20%, they go, oh, I'm not touching that, it's dropping. Do you see what I mean? Like, people like that have always got an excuse to not buy. Part of this channel is about helping you guys to be able to make your own decisions, to be able to look at the data and to understand where the market is going. Being able to make your own decisions and not just listen to other people is what will make you successful with sealed collecting and sealed investing particularly. Let's then have a look at Prismatic Evolutions. Last sold in the US, look, we're over 110 now, look, 111, 111, 109, PC ETB going for 400 now, 120 there, 120, that's the highest it's been for ages, look, 124. Come on, guys. We're starting to move now on Prismatic, and there's so many people. Oh, they're printing it. They're going to print it into the ground. It's going to be MSRP. No, this is it. This is them doing it at maximum capacity, and the price is now rising because people realise. We've been calling it all along. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Like, it is one of the most obvious plays right now. Destined Rivals is the same. Destined Rivals is one of the most obvious plays, even at $400 a box. $400 a box for DR will put a lot of people off. But where's it going long term? It's easily going over $1,000 a box. It just needs the time. It hasn't had any time to run, DR. Neither has Prismatic, really. Prismatic has been printed and printed and printed, and it's still going up in price. Like, it's nuts, guys. I think it's an amazing time to be part of the hobby, and I actually feel really bad for all those people, and there's a lot of people that see this as a terrible time in the hobby. It's a fantastic time in the hobby. I love being in a hype cycle. Like, yeah, you got to pay more for product, yeah, you got to pay over retail, but everything's going up week on week on week. Whether you've got collector app or you're tracking your portfolio by yourself, everything is just going up and up and up. It's amazing, And not just that, so many more people are coming into the hobby every day. So many more. I am being in public places and I'm just hearing conversations. I'm picking up on the word Pokemon. I'm picking up on, oh, if you buy this pack, you could sit on it for a couple of years and it might go up in value. These are people that are waking up to this, that haven't been in the hobby maybe since they were a kid or something like that. And it really angers me, anyone who's negative about that. They're like, oh, all these people that are coming into the hobby, how dare you try and gatekeep Pokemon? Pokemon is for everyone. Whether you want to keep sealed product, whether you want to open packs, it is inclusive. Let's get everyone involved. I think that would be great. I would love for my family to be involved, for my mum, for my gran to be collecting Pokemon. Who cares? Bring them all in. It's a fantastic thing to share with everyone. Why should you be part of the hobby and gatekeep it and think that you're allowed to be part of it but other people aren't because it's making product more expensive for you? How dare you? Anyway, rant over. I am actually ill, so I need to... Let's move on with the episode. Those of you that have been part of the channel for a while will understand that I can go on these massive tangents, and we've started calling it story time with PokePond. Right, story time over until the next one. Last sold in the UK, £164. The price just keeps going up and up and up. Maybe I'm partly responsible for that because I keep telling you guys to buy it. But honestly, even at 164 quid, it's such an obvious play, guys. It really is. It's a fantastic set. Let's then move on to some other sets, otherwise we're going to be here all day. Let's then talk about Journey Together. Journey Together is kind of holding at around about 245. It was at 246 last week on the average prices. Last sale's 245, one for 265, sorry, which is a little bit high, I think. When it was at this point, at around about 260, we said it was a little bit expensive for how old it is and how much product is around right now for the demand. And then we saw that price correction. We kind of called it. It dropped down to around about 245. I think that that's a good price for it right now. If you look at it compared to its brothers and sisters in the era, the other sets that are around it, the average kind of price of a booster box right now for the Scarlet and Violet era is around about $240 to $250. So Journey Together is right in there. I think, again, it's one of those creeper sets. I think given enough time, give it a couple of years, it will perform quite well. It's just going to take a bit of that timeline for it to go out of print, for it to become a bit less available, a lot less people selling it, and then it will start slowly increasing in price. I do think it's a decent set. It's got some nice artworks. It's just there's too much of it around right now, and the attention is just on other stuff. So I think putting it in the middle of the pack price-wise with Scarlet and Violet booster boxes is fair for it right now. I think that it is a fair market price. It's not a bad pickup if you're going to put it for a couple of years, maybe to diversify your portfolio a little bit. Let's then have a look at prices on eBay US. Enhanced version here with the box topper going for $255. Another one going for $255 as well. So that seems a pretty fair market price. Here in the UK, enhanced version going for $230. Enhanced version in the UK is a lot rarer over here than in the US, and the normal version here going for $189, $184, both sales from the last couple of days. Not a bad pickup, like I say. Surgeon Sparks then. Surgeon Sparks is starting to pull ahead, and you're noticing more and more people are starting to get behind Surgeon Sparks and are saying that it's going to be one of the big sets of the era, i.e. top 2, top 3 sets. I am cautious about saying something like that. I think it's too early to tell with Surgeon Sparks. It could be a top 3 set. At the moment, it does look like it's going to be, at least booster box wise, it's going to be Destined Rivals, Paldea Evolved, and then third spot is difficult. Surgeon Sparks might take it. It is starting to pull ahead in price. Might go to Twilight Masquerade, something like that. Might end up going to something like Journey Together. However, when we are talking about that, we are talking about the best booster box sets. Now, Scarlet and Violet era has some of the best holiday sets that don't have booster boxes. So to say Surgeon Sparks is a top 3 set I think is actually quite irresponsible, because let's put holiday sets into the mix. We've got 151, we've got Paldea and Fates. Do you see what I mean? Like, are you still putting Surgeon Sparks over that? Prismatic Evolutions? Are you putting it over all of them? Because once you put them into the mix, I think Surgeon Sparks is struggling to be top 5. Time will tell, though. I'm always happy to change my opinions going forward when we've seen more data. And I think that's what we need to see. We need to see more data on Surgeon Sparks. I think that it's a great set. When it was around about that 245 range, I said it was undervalued a couple of weeks ago. Now we're starting to see it correct up and start to pull ahead of some of the other sets like Journey Together, which I think is good for it. And it is a fair market price now. Last week it was $252. This week it is... Look at that, 2 sales for 300, a sale there for 327. That is up a significant amount of money, actually. So let's calculate that out. $300 from 252, 48 on 252. Let's calculate that out. 48 divided by 252. Surgeon Sparks up 19%. We're going to keep an eye on it. I do really like Surgeon Sparks as a set. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's irresponsible to say that it's a top 2 or top 3 set at the moment when you need to think about how many other good sets that are in the era, like Prismatic, like 151, like Paldea and Fates. Okay? But 19%, nothing to shy away from there. Potentially the next big move, but I'm being cautious on it. I hold a bit of Surgeon Sparks, but I bought it for retail. So we're win-win for retail. I'm happy to hold on to it. Would I buy more into it now? Probably not. Not because I don't think it's going to go up in price, just because I think there's better deals in the market. I think your Destined Rivals, your Prismatic Evolutions, I think that people are really going to kick themselves for not picking up more of them in a couple of years' time. Last sold on eBay, $280 for Surgeon Sparks, 267 quid here in the UK. Let's then talk about Paldea and Fates that we just briefly talked about. Paldea and Fates Elite Trainer Box is continuing to climb up in price. I think it's very unlikely we're going to see any more reprints of Paldea and Fates, elite trainer boxes at least. And prices just creeping up every week, consistently having compounding gains. Last week it was at $278. This week it is at $297. So what's that? $19 on 278. It's up 6.8% over the last week, which is pretty significant, and just continuing to creep up in price. I feel like Paldea and Fates, where it's got that Bubble Mew and that Charizard, I feel like we're just going to blink and one day it's just going to be knocking on the door of 500. I think it's going to catch a lot of people out, and it's poised in a position right at its all-time high where it could just have a heavy buyout, and then that's it. The price is just 500. I think that is where it's going. It's just how long is it going to take for that move to happen. But I do see that move coming in the near future. Let's then have a look at eBay. $275. Sorry, it's the illness. And another one, import from Australia for $280. Another one for $270. Kind of crazy. Last sold in the UK, 208 quid. Full transparency, I sold one of these at the start of the summer for 105 quid. So it's already doubled its money since the start of the summer. So that is kind of mad. Do I regret selling it? No, because I pretty much doubled my money on that because I bought it for, I think I bought it for 45 quid off of eBay. Not eBay, Amazon. And they were on there for a long time. And it wasn't any of this invitation nonsense. It was before like the big bit of the hype cycle. You could just buy as many as you wanted. And I bought quite a few. I still own quite a few of them. I've also got a PCETB of this as well, which is performing really well. I love Paldea and Fates. Really good. Temporal Forces, we will briefly talk about. It is continuing to climb up in price, but it's It's sat there at that range, like I said, at that middle range between 240 and 250 of the average price of booster boxes in the era. Long term, again, I think it will creep up in value, but I think it will struggle to be one of the top 5 sets going forward. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong. I hold a lot of it because I bought in for below retail. Sometimes people get mad at me in the comments and say, oh, you're trashing Temporal Forces, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, I kind of do know what I'm talking about, because even though I might trash a set and say that it's bad, from an investment standpoint, that doesn't mean I don't hold a lot of it. Temporal Forces is one of my largest positions that I hold right now. So please take anything I say when I'm insulting sets with a pinch of salt. Those are emotional opinions, and I don't trade on emotion, I trade on data. So although I might not like a set, I still might be heavy into it. Do you see what I mean? That's something to remember. So yeah, let's have a look at prices. $250 last week, and now $248. So basically exactly the same, just a normal market swing of 1% or so, which is basically nothing. Paradox Rift, 253 last week. Similar sort of thing, 255, 250. Basically a flat week for Paradox and Temporal, but we'll always keep an eye on it for you. Let's then talk about 151 Elite Trainer boxes. 151 has reduced in price. Oh my gosh, that's the first time it's happened in months. What does that mean? Does that mean the sky's falling? No, it doesn't. Last week it was averaging $403. Now it's at $385 last sold. So 403 to 385 is 18 divided by 403. 151 Elite Trainer boxes have dropped 4.4% this week. It's just on sale. This is very normal activity to see after such a big run up in price, just a little bit of a price correction, particularly when it's on the border of a very round number like $400. It's just going to bounce on $400 for a little bit. How long for? Might be a week, might be a month. I don't know. Once it does successfully break through $400 and you start to see sort of 8, 9, 10 sales in a row over 400, around about 410, 420, I think that will be that, and it will never drop below 400 again. Yeah, it's just a bit of a resistance point for it to break through. I would not worry at all. Last sold on eBay US. You can actually get some crazy deals right now on auctions. $336, $311, some of the cheapest that I've seen in a while. And the PC ETB going for $950. Absolutely bonkers right there. Last sold in the UK, 363 quid. That is basically an all-time high. And it's got no, it doesn't have a new listing. Tag, ignore me. Another one going for 333, another one going for 313. So 3 buy it now sales all on the same day with a 50 quid price difference. So deals to be had out there in the market. The sky is not falling, don't worry. A lot of people, I get a lot of messages from people telling me, oh, I'm going to wait, clearly this is a bubble, clearly the market's going to crash and all of that. To be honest, with a set like 151, it's not going to crash. What you're going to see with the crash or the bubble burst is going to be on newer sets. Okay, it is inevitable. It will happen. When it will happen, what set it will happen onto, I don't know. You're kind of seeing it a little bit with Black Bolt and White Flare, where it's a set that wasn't super well received. It doesn't have the same kind of demand as the stuff around it. I expect to see similar once we get out of the Mega Evolutions era. Once we get into Gen 10, I think that the base set is going to sit around for a little bit. I think that these big box stores aren't going to be able to afford to keep that product on their shelves. They're going to start fire selling it, and that's when you're going to see a reduction in price. However, the more desirable sets at the same time of Scarlet and Violet, like your Destiny Rivals, Prismatic 151, I think they're just going to continue to run. You're not going to see a crash in the market with desirable products like that. That is generally how things have played out in the past. The new era is where the crash happens, or you'll start to see below MSRP pricing because stuff won't move because everyone is just looking at the previous era that's now going out of print. That's what happened with Sword and Shield. That's what happened with Sun and Moon. I expect the same to happen with Scarlet and Violet. Once we move on to the Gen 10 era after Mega Evolutions, I think that people aren't really going to pay much attention to that Gen 10 because it's all new Pokemon. They don't have any connection to it yet. And everyone's just going to be focusing on, oh, 151's out of print. I'm going to FOMO into that. Oh, 151 normal Elite Trainer box is $600 now. I better buy in before it's $800. Do you see what I mean? Like, I think that's really what's going to happen in the market long term. And I've deliberately said that sort of halfway through the video so that the people who really aren't interested in this content or like aren't sitting and paying attention for this amount of time, like you guys, the real viewers, they won't see that. If I'd have said that at the beginning of the video, it goes out to too many people. It goes out to all the scalpers, evil scalpers. See, I'm backtracking on what I said. They do provide a service, so I see it like an Amazon delivery service. Scalpers, they just round up the product for me for a small fee and then will post it to me for a small amount without me having to get out of my bed. More and more as I get on in this hobby and have more time with sealed collecting. I mean, I've been doing it for 10 years, but the more and more time happens, the less time I want to spend in queues in an early morning trying to get a release or sitting in a Pokemon Center queue. Like, it just doesn't concern me. Yeah, it's easy money. Oh, I get it for MSRP if I sit in a queue. But equally, I don't want to sit in a Pokemon Center queue for 2 hours and then get nothing because then you just feel awful. I don't mind paying the extra price just to get it guaranteed on release day because I'm going to double, triple my money anyway when I hold it for a few years. So it is what it is. Let's then talk about Twilight Masquerade. Twilight Masquerade is one of those sets that is just continuing to climb up in price now, and I do think it is going to be one of the top sets of the era. I know there's only really the Chase Greninja card, but I think as time goes on that card will just become more desirable, and we're seeing strong sales data from Twilight Masquerade even straight out the gate. So let's look at 1 year going back. That is pretty consistent growth over the last year. Over the last year it's up 117%, but it's fairly consistent. We're not seeing big volatile price moves and drops and stuff like that. It is one of the most consistent investments at the moment in the market. $306 last week on the average prices on TCG Player. This week $325. So no big price gains, but not bad. It just continues to compound, and I think that Twilight Masquerade again is going to be one of those sets that catches people off guard in the long term. I think once you're looking at 2 years time, 3 years time, I think it's going to be quite a bit more than it is now. I hold quite a lot of Twilight Masquerade. Story time for you. I actually sold a lot of Evolving Skies for Twilight Masquerade. When Evolving Skies was $600 a box, I was trading Evolving Skies boxes, basically a case of Twilight Masquerade I was getting for one Evolving Skies box. Now, if you look at it now, you're like, oh, that's not a very good deal. Like, look at how well Evolving Skies has run. But actually, I've more than doubled my money on the Twilight Masquerade already. And I was happy to get it as well. And I think that Twilight Masquerade is going to have a good run going forward too. So I'm happy to have it in my collection. And yeah, story time. Don't regret selling those Evolving Skies. And I still own some as well. That's an important point too that I wanted to raise. With like real high demand sets like Prismatic, Destined Rivals, Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, that kind of thing. If you own multiples of them and it goes up in price quite a lot and you decide to sell some, just keep one. Keep at least one. I kept at least one Evolving Skies. I'm happy I did. I own a lot of other Evolving Skies product as well, but I've got one booster box of Evolving Skies left, and I'm so happy that I kept it because it stops that seller's remorse. That if it does go to the moon and go up loads in price, you won't feel so bad because you still own one. I still own a Fusion Strike, I still own an Evolving Skies, that kind of thing. If you can afford to keep one, I would keep one. That's just a little tip for you for someone that's been doing this a long time. So yeah, Twilight Masquerade went from $306 to $325, which is what, $19? 19 divided by 306. It's up 6.2% over the last week. Let's then have a look at eBay. Last sold on eBay US $320. I think that's quite a good buy even at $320. I just see it going up long term. Last sold in the UK $294. It's not the obvious play either. It's a really strong set and it's not the obvious play. It's very iconic with its colouring and its green and its the Oglepon on the front. I think it's wicked, to be honest, Twilight Masquerade. I think it's a creeper set and I think it will end up a top 5 set overall. Just because it's got so much consistent data as well. It's just constantly going up and it's just so consistent. It might not have these big volatile price movements to the upside, but that's not always what you want. It's a lot less risky, I think, to buy Twilight Masquerade now than to buy, say, like a Journey Together for much cheaper, in my opinion. Let's then move on. Last sold of Paldea Evolved. Paldea Evolved, last week is $459. Paldea Evolved again is starting to pull ahead as one of the best sets, just because it's had the time to run as well. We're seeing some very volatile price movements over the last few weeks, and it's just continuing to climb up. $459. I'm so ill right now. 485. So what's that? 59, 6, it's $16. 16 on 459. Is that $16? Sorry, I'm so ill. My brain's not working. 485. 459. We'll use the calculator. $26. Divided by 459. Paldea Evolved up 5.6%. We're going to have a good rest after this video. Like I said, not feeling too hot right now, but we wanted to get a video out for you. We do every 7 days. For those of you that are new to the channel, every 7 days we will tell you everything going on in the sealed market, because it's a lot of information to keep up with, and instead of you having to look at all of these charts every week, we will tell you everything that's going on. Pop me on in the background, maybe when you're doing some dishes or some cooking, put me on podcast style and I'll tell you everything that is going on. Shout out to all the subscribers. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. If you have the product, you have the power. Let's then have a look at eBay, what's going on. $459 last sold on eBay US. Another one from yesterday as well for $425. So again, look, the range opening up between two sales. I think that Paldea Evolved, again, it's in that position where it's right at its an all-time high. It's one of the most popular sets. It could easily see an aggressive, volatile move to the upside to shoot up to that $600 range, and then I don't think it's going to drop back down after that. Even if it does, it'll be temporary, and it's never going back to like 425 in my opinion. I think it's very unlikely that it will get reprinted at this stage, and it does look like it's going to be a top 2, maybe even top 3 set of the era. So there you go. Last sold in the UK, £363. The reason why I paused then is because I was thinking about saying something, and I will say it. If Paldea Evolved is at 459 quid right now, okay, and you've got Destined Rivals at over $400 too, how long is it going to be before Paldea Evolved and Destined Rivals overtake Silver Tempest and Brilliant Stars? Now, I don't think anyone on YouTube is talking about that or has ever talked about that, but it's something that I'm starting to look at now. So we'll have a look at Brilliant Stars and Silver Tempest in a minute when we move on to Sword and Shield, but it's getting to the stage now where DR, because it's not been out for as long as Paldea Evolved as well, could easily start overtaking some of these Sword and Shield sets. And if it starts overtaking Silver Tempest and Brilliant Stars, then that's going to be pretty mad. I think it's coming. Maybe even by Christmas. If DR keeps pumping the way it's pumping, I think it could overtake Silver Tempest. I mean, that tells me two things. One, DR's an amazing set to invest into. And two, Silver Tempest is an amazing set to invest into because it's completely out of print. You've got the insane Lugia chase card, and it's almost cheaper than an in-print Destined Rivals. Kind of nuts when you think about things. And I think a lot of that is due to attention and where people in the market are paying their attention to. And I think people get so, like, blinkered in. Like, when we say got the blinkers on, it's like when horses, right? So racehorses, so they don't get distracted, they have blinkers put on, which is almost like headgear, which blocks out like their side vision, so they just focus on what's in front of them, and it makes them chill out a bit more on their task of walking forward. So it's almost like people have blinkers on in the hobby. They're just like, oh, what's the new thing? It's Phantasmal Flames, it's Destined Rivals, it's Prismatic Evolutions. But are we paying attention to what's going on with Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars? I know some of you guys are because we're talking about it all the time. But a lot of people in the market aren't. And I think it's pretty significant that DR and Paldea Evolved are about to overtake Silver Tempest. I think that that is quite a pinnacle point in the sealed collection market, and no one's talking about it. Like, literally no one. If I'm wrong, comment down below, but I think it's very interesting, and we'll keep an eye on it going forward, as we always do. We always keep an eye on what's going on in Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. Let's then briefly talk about Obsidian Flames. Obsidian Flames, we don't talk about it every week, but we need to start talking about it more because it's starting to increase in price by a decent amount. I actually really like Obsidian Flames. So many people hate Obsidian Flames. I've liked it since release. There are a lot of investment YouTubers who hated Obsidian Flames. They would meme on the set for months, even a year nearly, of Obsidian Flames being out. They hated it. They clowned on it. It was the joke set. And now they're all starting to say, oh, well, you should have bought into Obsidian Flames at retail. It annoys me so much when people, you know, dog on a set for over a year, and then once it starts going up in value, they're like, oh, told you, you should have bought it all along. It's like, no, you didn't. You didn't tell us all along. You were memeing on it for over a year. Me personally, I've loved Obsidian Flames. I love my Charizard sets. Some of the Charizard sets don't perform amazing. I love Darkness Ablaze. I hold a lot of Darkness Ablaze. That is still the meme set going forward. I love Brilliant Stars. Do you know what I mean? I love my Charizard sets. I love Obsidian Flames. I've been into it since below retail. You could pick these up for 20%, 30% below retail. It was nuts. I just piled up on them when you could do that. I ignored all the other Pokemon YouTubers that were laughing at it, saying it was Darkness Ablaze Part 2. And now it's significantly increasing in price, and it's sat at an all-time high. Last week it was at $327. This week it's at $312 with a sale at $330. 330, 330, 335. So although technically last sales, 3 of them being dumped to half case, are below what it was last week, we're also at 330 from yesterday. So that is an all-time high. Keep an eye on Obsidian Flames. Again, I think it's a creeper set. People's attention isn't on it. And sometimes some of the sets that people's attention aren't on perform the best long term. Look at things like Rebel Clash, Crimson Invasion, Sun and Moon Base, Sword and Shield Base. Even Darkness Ablaze is starting to move now. Have a look. I'm not going to pull it up now, but have a look at what's going on with the Darkness Ablaze Elite Trainer box right now. No one wanted those. They were struggling to sell for 37 quid. Not that long ago. Now have a look at what the price is. Sometimes It just needs a little bit of time. Time in the market beats timing the market. Let's then move on to the big boys, my favourite part of the episodes, Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies last week was, on the averages, looking at like $2,542. Last sales $2,600, $2,694. Really, we need to look at eBay though to see what's going on. Last sales in the US, $2,550. With another one selling on the same day, both from yesterday, $2,750, right up there at the all-time highs. We've been saying now that the new price prediction is going to be a $3,000 sale by Christmas, and it looks like we're set for that. We got a little bit of time. Where are we? 20th of September right now. We've got about 3 months till Christmas, almost exactly 3 months. I think we're going to see that $3,000 sale. I think the prophecy will become true. I'm not saying market will become 3K at Christmas. I mean, it could do. It could be far beyond that. What's very interesting about Evolving Skies is sales volume. Although we're seeing 2 sales yesterday for basically all-time high prices, sales volume is dropping for a couple of reasons. One, people are still opening it, which is nuts in my opinion. But hey, people are still opening it. Some people enjoy doing that, spending $3,000 on a box and opening it. I think personally they're mad, but hey, it's not called Evolving Skies for a reason. But that's why we're seal collectors and investors. We don't need to understand why they do it. We just need to understand that they do it. Rip and shippers still going through Evolving Skies as well. A lot of people, myself included, that still hold boxes of Evolving Skies are seeing these crazy price movements in Evolving Skies, and we have no reason to sell. I had more boxes of Evolving Skies that I don't have now. I still have 1 box, but I had more boxes, and around about that $1,000 mark, I was like, should I sell some more? I almost said in my head, like ahead of time, oh, when it hits 1,000, I'll sell more. And then it starts creeping up more and more and more, and you're just like, well, why would I sell now? Let's see where it's going. It's had such a good run this year. I mean, where was Evolving Skies last year? Let's just have a look. That'd be quite interesting. So Evolving Skies last year was at 600. This time last year, September 2024. Yeah, September 2024. It was at $700 a box. And it's gone up 273% in that time. It's now getting to the stage where a lot of people that hold them just aren't selling them. Sales volume is going to go down, and it's going to continue to reduce as the money goes up on the value of market price. That is then going to be a perfect storm, reduce the supply, increase the demand, and price is going to go up even more. I think Evolving Skies is going to have an insane next year. Like a real insane next year. I think it's too early to call what it's going to be at in 12 months time, but we could easily see another double up. I wouldn't even be surprised if Christmas 2027 we're looking at a 5k box. That wouldn't even surprise me. Now, I'm not saying it will. It's very hard to predict where it's going in 12 months time, but Evolving Skies is one of those sets that constantly breaks all expectations, and every prediction we make, it always outpaces it. So let me know down below, what do you think? 5k a box by next year? That is quite a lot to climb, even for an Evolving Skies. That is a big ask for it, but it's up 173% over the last 12 months. Could it go up another 100% over the next 12 months? I don't think that's unreasonable. We'll have to wait and see. Last sold in the UK, 2,189 quid, basically 2,200, which is kind of nuts here for the UK. That is a crazy amount of money that we're just consistently selling over 2k here now. Let's just do that in USD actually. 2,000 quids in USD, because I'm sure the American viewers will be interested. That's nearly $2,700. $5 off of $2,700 we're paying here in the UK right now. Kind of crazy. Let's then talk about Fusion Strike. Fusion Strike has been on an absolute tear over the last 3 months. since about here, since about July. Look, the chart has just gone absolutely bananas. Last week we were looking at an average price on TCG Player of 980 quid. Now last sales of 1,050. We're just regularly getting sales over 1,000 quid now. 1,000, 1,055, 1,050. Kind of nuts. Let's calculate it out. Why not? So that is $57. Is it? Yeah, $57 on, what was it? 993. 57 divided by 993. Fusion Strike up another 5.7%. Just on an absolute tear. I love Fusion Strike. Easily the second best set in the era. $970 last sold on eBay US. Another one going for $1,000 there. Both sales from yesterday on Buy It Nows. 1,000 just seems to be market now. Last sold in the UK. New listing tag 771. And another sale there. Didn't mean to click on that, for 873. Now look at that. Someone knew their prices. Someone put it up for 100 quid below market, like 15% below market, and someone just bought it out straight away. You can tell they did because it's still got the new listing tag. That's why you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity, because you need to know your prices. You need to know and act quick that when this is uploaded onto eBay for 771 quid, that is £100 saving. To get 100 quid discount on Fusion Strike at this stage in the market is nuts. Hopefully one of you guys picked that up. I hope you did. Well done if that was one of you. Lost Origin. A flat week for Lost Origin. I don't understand it. It's so underpriced right now. $823 with last sale at 795, 765, 780. Although it looks less than on the averages, it is just flat. Because if we look at sales from last week, yeah, look, last week here, $800, last sale, 795. So we're just hovering on $800 with Lost Origin, and have been for a couple of weeks, have been since the start of September, end of August. So about 20 days, it's been $800 a box. Right, if Fusion is $10.50, $1,100, or $1,000, there's no way Lost Origin shouldn't be $900. I think it's $100 underpriced at the moment, at least. Last sale in the US, $800 on the nose. With the PC ETB, look at that, going for $250. I know I keep saying it, but that is a beautiful ETB. I'd really like one of those in my collection. Less as an investment thing, because I think your money's better elsewhere as investments. It annoys me that they took a photo of that in a case as well. Honestly, just take it out of the case for the photo. It's only a rubbish plastic case as well. Oh, they actually... Did they for that one? Yeah, that's out of the case. Again, though, that's a bad photo. Sort your lighting out. You're getting all reflections and that. That is a beautiful box, and that photo doesn't do it justice. Is that a tear? Is that a tear? That is so hard to tell whether that's a tear or not. I think that is. I wouldn't be too happy if I was paying $250 for that and it had a tear like that in it. That's just me personally, though. Anyway, let's get on. We're getting sidetracked, and we're so ill. We need to rest. We need to rest our voice. I've only made one cut so far in the video to cough, so I think we're doing very well. Let's then have a look at Lost Origin. Last sold in the UK. Someone dumping a half case here for $501.38 each. It's such a weird amount to sell something for. £501.38 on a Buy It Now. That is bizarre. Why not just put 500 quid? Or just put... Or even 502. Why 501.38? That's such a random amount of money. Like, it does puzzle me sometimes how people's brain works. Maybe that's an eBay recommended price because it's taking like averages of last solds. I don't know. And yeah, that's quite a bit cheaper than what someone else was selling for. Look at that. Before that, 650, 670. So someone just dumped for like 160 quid below market. What? 160 divided by 660. Yeah, someone dumped a half case of Lost Origin on the 16th, so a week ago, for 24% below market price. That seems nuts. Again, if one of you guys bought that out, well done. Let's then talk briefly about Astral Radiance. Astral Radiance is kind of flat this week, but it kind of recovered. If you're not aware, it had this big run up in price like a lot of other Sword and Shield era sets did at around about May time. Then we saw a bit of price correction down to mid-August. Then it recovered a little bit, and it's just kind of chilling just under $400 right now, which I think is a fair price for it. Last sale, $410, so maybe up a little bit this week, but it's very, very marginal. Let's then move up to Brilliant Stars. Brilliant Stars, like I was saying, love my Charizard sets. I think it's quite undervalued, Brilliant Stars and Silver Tempest right now. Like I said, so $539 last week. Yeah, $539. This week, $513, $532, $544. So pretty much down a few dollars. Not that much though. Chilling at an all-time high. And just underpriced when you look at what's going on with Paldea Evolved. Paldea Evolved is at what? Over 400 a box? 430? Something like that? I can't remember. It's $100 more than Paldea Evolved. It's $100 more than Destined Rivals. But it's out of print. You've got that Charizard alt art card. I just think Brilliant Stars and Silver Tempest are massively undervalued right now. Let's then talk about... let's have a look at eBay. Last sold eBay US. Look at this, $470. Under $500 for Brilliant Stars. 529 new listing. Buy it now from yesterday. It just seems crazy to me. Like I said, the in-print Sword and Shield, in-print Scarlet and Violet, like Paldea Evolved, like Destined Rivals, are probably going to overtake Brilliant Stars and Silver Tempest. This seems like an obvious play to me right now, to buy into Brilliant Stars and Silver Tempest, but make of it what you will. Last sold in the US, in the UK, sorry, £405. Sorry, my brain is not braining. And for some reason, I didn't pull up Silver Tempest, so we'll do that live together. If you're wondering, by the way, someone pointed this out. On TCG Player, it says an email address here. That is just a throwaway email address, so do what you will with it. It's not linked to anything. It's not my YouTube account. It's nothing. It's just to log into TCG Player. So don't worry about that showing. Let's do a live Silver Tempest then. It must have been that, like, where I'm just so ill, I just forgot to pull up Silver Tempest. So sorry about that. Let's do it live. So Silver Tempest up this week, it looks like. Last week it was at $462. Now it's at $464 with a sale at $475. So a couple of dollars up, but chilling right at its all-time high. Let's have a look at eBay. What's going on eBay for Silver Tempest? Silver Tempest booster box. So undervalued right now, especially for that Lugia card. There's no way that Lugia card isn't like a generational card. 500 quid or $500 with another one going for $455, both from yesterday. Quite a range as well. Look at that, a 10% swing between two sales on the same day. Very, very interesting. Let's have a look at eBay UK very quickly as well. Silver Tempest booster box. Let's go down to sold. Just under 600 quid. Oh no, that's a weird combo deal. There we go, 480 for the box. At an all-time high, but pretty cheap when you compare it to other things moving in Scarlet and Violet right now. This is something that I want to mention to end the episode as well. There are a lot of Sword and Shield Elite Trainer boxes that are starting to move in price now. These Silver Tempest boxes, you could get these for retail, like 50 odd quid, not that long ago. And they were sat at 50 quid, 60 quid forever. For years. And it's not just Silver Tempest, it's Brilliant Stars, it's Darkness Ablaze, it's Vivid Voltage, it's Shining Phase, which there were so many of. All of these Elite Trainer boxes are moving up in price, and they're moving up quickly over this week, the last week. They're all starting to finally move, and I'm so happy because I was bought so heavily into them, and they were taking up so much space, so I'm slowly selling mine. I do think they are great investments though if you want a way to buy into these sets, and it's just really positive to finally see them start to move up in price. I think they will continue to move up in price because they were massively undervalued. So yeah, just wanted to point that out to you to finish off the episode. Have a look at some Sword and Shield Elite Trainer boxes and you will see what I mean. They're all starting to spike up in price. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Sorry it was a bit rushed and I'm a bit ill and all that. I did my best to put out an episode for you guys today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please hit that like button. It massively helps me out if you enjoyed the episode at all. I'm hoping you did because you got to this point. Anyway, like I said, have a wonderful day and peace.